Hi everybody, Whitney with Girl Friday Crafts here. Happy Friday, good to see you. Super excited about today and all of the things. Just gonna hop over on my YouTube channel and make sure that I am live. Not sure why I'm not live on YouTube. There we go. Now I'm live on YouTube. Okay. I've been doing this for a while. I still worry a little bit. And also I need to be able to see my YouTube feed so I can see the comments. I can't see them in StreamYard. So I hope you all have had a really wonderful week. It's been a very busy week for me. I mean, I feel like that's kind of par for the course in my life right now, but I'm very happy that we're on Friday. I'm very happy to be here because crafting and creating at the end of the week really sort of like helps my brain sort of decompress. So my original plan for this week was to do the September club project. Committed to doing every month's club project with you all live so you can see it, because we all know I promote the heck out of it, but I haven't done a very good job of always bringing that project to you all. However, earlier this week, I got my sample pack of transfers that are part of the holiday release that is coming out next Tuesday. So I thought I would take the opportunity to promo a little bit of that and let you all see some of that before that release comes out. But I did want to show you the club project, and we will do this next Friday. So this month's project is another ink project, and it's a navy blue half apron, and it's got the 3 little pockets here and ties around the back, and it's very, very nice quality fabric. And then it's this homemade pumpkin pie. I'm actually going to hold it up to this camera because I think you can see it a little better. This homemade pumpkin pie transfer. So you have all kinds of different options. Wrong way. Of things to put on this transfer. So you've got homemade pumpkin pie, and then you've got, pieces of a pumpkin pie recipe. So you could, put part of it in different places or in different ways. You can put part of it on the pockets. You could just do the homemade pumpkin pie here, and then you could put this little half teaspoon of salt, the big piece of the recipe, and just mix it up. So you've got so many options. And then obviously you can reuse this transfer multiple times, 8 to 12 times depending. So you could also, if you have other transfers, you could incorporate, different things into the apron. And then it comes with a packet of shimmer copper ink. Actually, you probably get 2. I think I only pulled 1 out of my box because I ordered this early. It doesn't come for me packaged the way that it will come to club members packaged. It didn't come in its own little envelope. So I think I've got another packet of shimmer copper ink buried in a box somewhere. So that is the September club project. It is still available. I did not put a link to club in the description of today's live. I will go back and do that when I am finished. And this will be next Friday's project. So if you want to see it done, come back and join me next Friday, or make sure you catch that on replay. Okay, so this week, overly ambitious, shocking. I have at least 2 things that I want to get done, and depending on how time goes, I might bust out a third, or I might just do it when we're finished, and I'll show you all later. So I'm going to show you what that is first. So this is one of the transfers that's going to be released on Tuesday. It's called Resting Grinch Face, and it has this piece of it is resting that says Resting Grinch Face. So I'm going to hold that up here. So you've got his little smile there. It's a C-size transfer. It's got 5 different designs on it. You have Resting Grinch Face, Nice Until Proven Naughty, Dear Santa, It Was Just a Phase. Okay, I'm going to actually go ahead and move this camera down a little bit so you all can see that better. You don't need to see me. Okay, so that way you all can see the transfer better. Probably too far. Sorry. You've got Bah Humbug, up to Snow Good in this little snowflake pattern. And of course now my natural light's going to go away. I turned my light off before I got started because it was causing a glare because I had a lot of sun coming in on my window, and now the sun's going away, and so you can't see as well. I do struggle with the lighting situation in my desk isn't faced the right way. My desk really should be facing a different way. But you've got these. So this is this, and if we get to it today, I was going to put this on a t-shirt using Shimmer Silver ink. So that's definitely going to happen at some point, just may not be today. The other thing that we are going to do is we're going to use this one. It's called Have a Cup of Cheer. So it's another C-size transfer with 6 different designs. You've got the snow globe, the snowman, a snowflake, warm winter wishes. Oh, actually you have 7 because you have Let It Snow underneath there. You have this ugly Christmas sweater, and then the Have a Cup of Cheer looks like a little cup of hot chocolate, or could be, in my case, a peppermint loaf. So we're going to use the snow globe, and we're going to use the 5x7 floating frame. So if you remember when I did the July club project, I used actually I think it's 9x12, but the center piece is 8.5x11 or 8x10 floating frame for the blueberries transfer that came out of the July club. So we're going to put the snow globe on this floating frame. And I've got something I want to do with that. I think it'll work. I've seen other people do something similar, so I think it should be okay. And then we're going to use, these are also 2 new ones. This is just a distressed stripe pattern. And then, yay, a new set of minis. I love the minis. This is called From Santa with Love. So it's a B-size transfer with 12 different designs. Hold that. Actually, I'm going to hold that up to here because, again, I think you can see it better. There's all the different designs on that. And so we're going to take the Nice Naughty I Tried, and we're going to put that on a 3x3 box frame. And then I have one of our shadow boxes. I've already started painting the outside of it. I still need to finish, but this will do what I want for the visual. We're going to take the distressed stripe pattern and chalk it on the insert for the box frame. And then when that dries, we're going to glue the smaller, or for the shadow, this is the insert for the shadow box. We're going to glue the box frame with the design on it onto the insert for the shadow box, and it's all going to go back in there. I haven't decided if I'm going to chalk on the acrylic that goes inside the box, inside the shadow box, or not. Haven't figured that out yet. I also haven't figured out where I want to start. I think I'm going to do this. No, I think I'm going to start with the floating frame. So I'm going to put these out of the way. And I'm going to put this one really out of the way because I'm not sure we're going to get to that Rusting Grudge face today. And you all have seen me make a t-shirt before, so that's not anything that's a huge deal. Not that that's not an adorable transfer, and I'm super excited about it, but okay, so I'll lay that right side up for a second. Put that in there. I went ahead and cut that ahead of time because I had a few minutes. For those of you who have never seen one of my chalk videos before, I leave my transfer backing sheet intact and just cut the transfers apart without cutting the backing sheet. The larger the transfer, the more cumbersome that can be. So sometimes I try to go ahead and do that ahead of time. And right now we're just going to fuzz this transfer. And actually I'm going to set this aside for a second because there's something I need to do first. The other thing you might remember from the blueberries project was me talking about feeling like there should be a cover or piece of film on this acrylic board, and I could not for the life of me find it when I was doing that blueberry project. And I did confirm afterwards that yes, in fact, there was a piece of film on there. I have chalked on top of that, so it's just going to stay the way it is. But this time, I want to make sure that I do it right. So I am trying to find the edge of the film on this acrylic. I got one side already. And I'm trying to not use my nails, which is pretty impossible. And I don't want to like use anything that's going to scratch the acrylic, because that's part of the reason that film is there, so that you don't scratch it. Okay, so now this is going to come off, and we're going to have a clear piece of acrylic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a paint brush and I'm going to paint some Shimmer Frost chalk paste on this acrylic board. Not a lot. And I'm not going to water this down like I normally might if it was like a matte paste, because the shimmers tend to be a lot thinner anyway in my experience. And I'm just going to I call it messy painting. It's kind of like fussy cutting. I'm not really worried about getting all the way out to the edges. I'm not really worried about it being even. But because I'm doing this on an acrylic board and the transfers stick to these acrylic boards, I don't want to do a paste and peel. But I also want to give some of the snow effect because it is a snow globe. So I thought what I would do is apply some paste to the board. I'm going to chalk on top of it, and then I'm going to see if I want to paint in any of the detail. So I'm going to get my drying tool. The shimmers are a little harder to tell when they're dry. because they always have a bit of a sheen to them. And because I'm doing this way, we might do this because I feel like I'm gonna want a second coat of this to get it kind of the way I wanted it. I wonder if ooh, now that's an idea. I'm thinking about, I'm painting this on one side and maybe I chalk on the other side so that I'm not chalking on top of this, but you still have that sort of snowy, frosty background. And then I'm not running the risk of pulling up this shimmer frost. But I am going to let this sit. So I'm going to do a little bit of a pivot. And instead of starting with this one, we're going to start with the shadow box. So I'm going to set that transfer aside for a minute, making sure that I set it face down so that I don't end up getting it stuck to something. So as I mentioned, all of these transfers are part of a new release that's coming out on Tuesday. These are not, I don't believe this is the full extent of everything. This was just a sample pack that designers were able to purchase so we could do what I'm doing today, which is give you all a glimpse of what is coming. And also releasing on Tuesday is a promo for new Perks members. So the Perks program with Chalk is a membership, for lack of a better word. It's $20 a month. You get $20 back every month in design dollars, and you get a 30% discount on every purchase all the time. No minimums, no limits on how many times you can use the discount in a month or in a quarter or anything like that. You get 30% off a $5 purchase. You get 30% off a $50 purchase. Anything. So corresponding with the new release on Tuesday, and I have a picture of it, so I'm going to stop and show you real quick. Anybody who, I'm going to say this wrong, and I can't look at my phone. Give me 1 second. I don't want to say this wrong, so I'm going to do something real quick, and I'm going to pull this message up. Let's see. Okay, yep. So anybody who joins the Perks program from September 10th through the 30th and places an order in September, because you can join Perks without placing an order, gets this etched pine. They're calling them chubbies. They're true shelf sitters. So it's a chalkable shape, shaped like a Christmas tree, but they have they're wide now, so that they will really just sit independently on a shelf. And this transfer. I don't think the surface comes with it. No, the surface is actually this floating frame that we're going to use. So that floating frame would be your purchase for September, and then you get this etched pine shelf sitter and the etched pine tree and star transfer for free. So if you're looking at things in the new release and you're doing the math in your head, remember that if you join perks, you get the $20 in design credit, and you'll get that right away. So if you join perks September 10th, you get the $20 in design credit in your account immediately, so you can use it right away. You get the 30% off any purchase. And then if you make a purchase, you get that free tree shelf sitter and the corresponding transfer. And I will put a link to all of that in the video comments or the video description, as well as a link to the, I'm trying to figure out what way I want my lines to go, to the floating frame, the surface that's in the picture with the tree and transfer, because that right there makes your, buying that frame makes your purchase to make sure that you get your freebies. So that is for new Perks members, new members who enroll in September, starting September 10th. So starting on Tuesday, that again corresponding with the new release. And I will put all that in the video description, and I'll post all of that information on my Facebook page as well. But I wanted to make sure that I mentioned that. The Halloween sale is still running. That runs through tomorrow. And there was something else that was running. No, the Labor Day sale's over. That's right. But the Halloween sale runs through tomorrow still, and there is still product left in that sale. So if there was some Halloween things you were eyeing, you can still get them. Okay, so we are going to chalk on this. I'm going to fuzz this just a couple more times. So for those of you who may have never seen a Chalk Couture video before, what I am doing is I'm taking this transfer. So it's brand new, never used it. I'm putting it on our fuzzing cloth, and I'm just kind of picking it up over and over to get some of that sticky off of it. And so what that does is it helps to keep the transfer from pulling paste up when you remove it from your surface. And I'm doing this a little extra because this is a wood grain surface, and those have a tendency to just, they're not as smooth, and so there's more for that transfer to stick to. I just want to be sure. Again, it's a distressed pattern, so if I pull up a little bit, it's not quite as big of a deal. But if I can avoid it, that would be lovely. Okay, so I'm going to put this down, and I'm going to use, to create my lines, I'm going to use a color called Bite Me. Love this color. This was the, what month is this? It's September, April, May color of the month, maybe. It was back in the spring. It is a shimmer red. It was actually supposed to be released in conjunction with the release of the new live action Snow White movie that's coming out. But for whatever reason, the movie release got delayed, and they already had paste ordered and ready to go. And so that was our paste color. I love it. I love the name. I think it's hilarious. I'm all about the snark. And at the end of the day, it's a freaking gorgeous color. It is just wonderful for Valentine's Day. And maybe it was February. Maybe it was the February color of the month, because that would be appropriate. Bright red for, Valentine's Day projects. But it's also it's going to be a great color for the holidays, and it's going to go really well with cherry and Napa. Like if you're wanting to blend some reds together and get some, you know, different shades of red. This, if you have it, cherry and Napa together would look really awesome. If you don't have any of these colors, reach out to me or your designer if you already have one. You know, we do tend to buy the colors of the month, more than one jar if we can, because sometimes we know customers are going to come to us after a color has been released and want it. So, and if I don't have it, I will ask around to my fellow designers and see if I can find someone who does. So if it's a color you're looking for, let me know and I will see if I can find it for you. Okay, wipe my squeegee off. Put the lid on that while I pull this up first, and then I'll put the lid all the way on. Now there's a lot of negative space. Ooh. Oh, no, that was right. Okay. There's a lot of negative space in this transfer, which also does make it a little bit easier to pull it up, less green to stick. I'm going to put that in my water bath. Again, for those of you who might be tuning into one of my videos for the first time, first of all, hello, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. But you can't really see them off camera. Off to my left, I have 2 water baths, just little plastic tubs with water in them, one for tools, one for transfers, so that I can get my transfers into water as quickly as possible. So we're going to set that aside. I'll probably need to dry it a little bit with a drying tool, but in the interim, while we let it dry, I'm going to do this box frame. Again, I've already cut this one. Maybe, if I can get the corner up. I love these minis. They're so fun. Do cards. They work really well on our coasters, on gift tags, on these little box frames, and then you can make some dimensional projects, which is always fun. Sorry, I have to count. I can't do that and count at the same time. Let me hop over to YouTube and check for comments. Okay, no comments. No questions. Obviously, if you are watching on the replay and you have a comment, or if you have a question, just leave it in the comments and I will get notified of that so I can come back and answer that for you. I'm going to want my detail tool for this. And so then for this one, we are going to use Scout, which is another, I don't know if Scout's really shimmer. It's more, I guess, a metallic green. This was the June color of the month. We do have a shimmer green. It's a shimmer forest, but that was a darker green than what I wanted. I wanted a less Christmas tree green and a more, I don't know, ivy green or elf green. I don't know. I wanted a brighter green, I guess. That's the word. And we're gonna, on just traditional Christmas colors here. You could very easily, if you're a pink and teal Christmas person, you could paint this, the exterior of the shadow box pink, and then pink stripes on this and teal on the 3x3. Just so many options here, and I'm realizing that is it crooked? Actually, I don't think it's crooked. lots of ways to make a project like this match whatever your decor is for the holidays. And the insert on this box frame is double-sided. You can chalk on both sides, and when you put it in the frame, it just pops in, so you could easily also have, you know, say you wanted a fall something or other, and so, you know, paint the box itself maybe a green, and you do a fall design on one side, you could very easily have a 3x3 box frame with a fall design glued to one side, and then with a Christmas design glued to the other, and just flip it around when you want to change out your decor for the season. So we've got that, our little Santa's checklist. I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to check this out. Okay, so it's going to need a little bit of the drying tool. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my glue gun, and I'm probably going to need another glue stick. I did find, so when I ordered this glue gun, I wasn't really thinking, and the barrel for the glue is, you know, longer than your standard 4-inch glue sticks. And I didn't think about that. So I have sitting in my Amazon cart 10-inch glue sticks, or 8-inch, that'll fit all the way through. But for right now, I gotta usually have 2 in there at a time. Oh, almost smudged my little box frame there. It's hard to tell when you use the same finger over and over again. Is it really wet? Okay, I think that's dry. We're gonna dry this quickly. Not as essential to dry this, to be honest, because we're not gonna put anything on top of it. And even when I turn it over to put the glue on it, where I've chalked isn't gonna touch my desk. But all right, so we're gonna turn this over, and we're gonna take my glue, and I am going to kind of do a lot. Maybe not like a ridiculous amount, but, and try to go just a little bit around the edges too. And I'm hoping this is hot enough. Sometimes I have a tendency to not let the glue get hot enough, and then it doesn't stick as well. They need to beep at you or something and tell you when yep, it's ready. Okay. I have strings of it everywhere. Okay, so now we're going to take this, and I don't really measure, try and get things centered. Probably should. The nice thing is that this is Gorilla Glue. So the minute I stuck it in there, the minute I touched it to the insert, it stuck. So then this just has a magnetic closure. And but I need to do this way. Okay. Turn this, flip this over, and pop that in. I'm not gonna close it up all the way because I'm gonna have to finish painting this. But I want to be able to show you also. I'm gonna move some of these back where they're supposed to be. Some of these things get really tight, and I couldn't find a small enough. Okay. Oh, scratched my paint. Oh no, I got shimmer frost on it. So that's that. And then what you've got is you've got this little, this is actually plastic. Sorry. I always hate it when I'm not talking. I feel like that's kind of boring. You've got this little insert that goes into this right here, and I'm going to fold that down just a little bit. And so then you've got that. And what I might do just to give this a little bit more green is I've got a couple of different transfers that just are, winter greenery or holiday greenery. And so what I might do is go around the outer edges. I can mark it, with our with painter's tape where the box frame is, and then where this fits into the shadow box, and then just go around with a transfer and use some green or even some gold. Nominee would look really pretty to just give this a little bit more color, because that's a lot of red. Like in hindsight, maybe the stripes in green and the middle in red might have been a little better. I could also go around on the shadow box with a decorative design if I wanted to, maybe a little bit of white to give it more color. And then this also, you can fit our 5x5 box frames. If you have one of those, you can fit those inside there too. Okay, so that's that. Needs a little bit of finishing up. So now we're going to come back to this. I'm going to turn off the glue gun and come back to this. And this is dry, but I think what I'm going to do is what I talked about, which was to actually chalk the snow globe on the other side. So I'm just going to get a paper towel so this doesn't necessarily, the paste doesn't get scratched by my mat there. And I'm going to finish fuzzing this, and I'm going to fuzz this a lot too, because these acrylic surfaces, these transfers really stick, and there is not a lot of negative space in this one. And so I want to make sure that I get as much excess sticky off as possible so that I don't have problems with it. So I don't know, this was actually probably my first ever live at a Facebook event, and I used the shadow box, and I was trying to chalk a design on the insert on the shadow box, and I think I just didn't fuzz the transfer enough, but I had a horrible time. Like, I had to just completely scrap that part of the project because I could not get the transfer off of that part of the shadow box. So got a little better since then, you know, had a little more practice with some of these other surfaces that tend to stick more. But this is a brand new transfer, so I'm gonna fuzz the heck out of it. I can still feel some resistance towards the bottom here when I go to pull up. So I'll do this a few more times. Okay. So I'm gonna try and straighten this up a little bit. And get my trying to get it kind of centered. Press down so I don't have bubbles. So I'm gonna chalk this in Shimmer Shadow, keeping with the shimmer theme, which I like a lot for the holidays. But I also kind of like kind of the idea of a black and white look for this. And if I decide I need some color on it, then I can go back and kind of watercolor in some places like where the ornaments are. And I can even, you know, add some green to the, where the, you know, to the tree, things like that. So, right, so we're gonna take this and I'm gonna try to move as quickly as possible. These shimmer pastes are a little more forgiving, which is nice. Lots of possibilities with this snow globe as well. Just lots of options for watercolor, simple black and white. This would look really cute on a tea towel. This would look really pretty done in a hot mess technique. Okay. So I want to pull up from the corner because I don't want to run the risk of stretching the transfer. And I'm gonna, as I go, let's do it this way. Kind of rock it back and forth. It's coming up where the paste is really, really well. Not having any issues there. So that's good. It's just the outside edge where there is no design is, you know, it's really adhering to the surface. Try not to stretch out my transfer here. There we go. So rocking a transfer back and forth helps pull it up without, if you're having problems, without stretching it. Drop that in my water. Okay. Oh, I've got black paste all over my fingers here. Okay. So we've got that, which is just really lovely. You've got a little bit of that kind of white in the background. But I think what I am going to do, and you know, this is where you can get really fun with this, because then you can bring in some other colors if you have different color schemes that you like for Christmas. So what I'm going to do, if I can find the pastes that I'm looking for without a considerable amount of effort. There's that one. I'm looking for, there's that one. And then yeah, we'll use so many. I can find it. Okay. So we're gonna take a little, get some of my smaller paint brushes out here. I just had all these out too, and I put them away. It's like, oh, I don't need these. Yes, I do. So we're going to use the watercolor technique. So you're just going to get your paintbrush a little wet, and you're going to, now that one has, that one's, okay, fine. And you're going to just dip it in your paste, and then you're just going to paint. And it's going to be really kind of faint on this acrylic. So depending on, you know, how much color you want, you might have to let it dry and then go back over it and do it a second time, or you might want to dry brush it, you know, not get any water on your brush. So I'll do that with the nominee just to show you kind of what the difference might be in terms of how much color you actually see. So, you know, this nominee, I'm not sure how well you can see that. I'll hold it up to the camera here in a second. I'm dry brushing this one. The nice thing is especially on this right here, you don't really have to, you're not really painting. You're just sort of dabbing the color. I don't know if this Orion is open. Nope. So this Orion was another color of the month. Nominee is now part of the permanent collection, and Chalk Couture Teal is available right now. I'm not sure that it's going to stay. It was what they call an en vogue color. So it's a sort of a seasonal color. They stick around for a while, but I'm not really sure. I don't think it'll be a permanent, although we all love it. So maybe they'll keep it. I'm going to dry brush this Orion as well. So this is a kind of a metallic purple. And it's a nice deep purple, which is great. Kind of a color that we were lacking. You know, we have a violet, but it's a shimmer. And berry is a great color, but it's a light purple. And wisteria is also a really pretty color, but also very light purple. Okay, not done, but I want you all to see this. I don't know if you can see the colors. I'm gonna hold it up to this camera. Maybe I can figure out how to do that. No, I think it's better if I hold it up to this camera. So I know you can see the purple, and I think you can see the nominee. The Couture teal is showing up a little bit. So, you know, just adding a little bit of color to where the ornaments are. Just dry brush this shimmer Couture teal. But you're really, you know, you're just getting a nice subtle, that's the word I was looking for. Just a subtle hint of color in this black and white design here. And then, you know, doing a few at a time, spreading them out so that I can kind of go back and see, okay, you know, this color needs to go there, and I need a little bit of this color here. Again, you know, equal distribution isn't necessarily the goal. Put a little nominee down here. And then put a little Couture teal up here. And a little here. And then up here. This one. And again, as this dries, if you decide that the color isn't bright enough, you can always add more. And you could even, if you wanted to go in, you know, take a very small brush, and there's some space in where the branches are where you could, you know, just add a little bit of green. And then I'm going to show you how to get this into the frame. I think you can buy these individually because you could, you can buy the frame and then just buy multiple acrylic pieces so that you can swap out at your leisure or at your discretion. But I think you can buy them all separately. But I think you can still get them as bundles too. So you're going to take the clamps for, I don't know if that's really what you call them, but, and you're going to turn them sideways and you're going to kind of slide the frame. Okay, I figured out how to do this the last time. There we go. I'm just going to kind of slide the frame or the acrylic piece into the clamps and then it just turns once you get it, and then you can kind of position it how you want. And then there we go. And that would also look really cute. Hold it up to that one. Sitting on a shelf with one of those battery operated candles behind it. So that you've got a little light, with it being acrylic, you've got a little light that'll shine through. So I'm gonna hold that up all the way. So I'm really digging that snow globe. You could also chalk this, don't do what I did on the back. Don't do the shimmer frost. Chalk the snow globe in whatever way you want. And then you could take the shimmer frost and paint it into the snow globe, and then even paint it some on top of, these other areas. So I could, paint some down here and then, paint some on the tree so it looks like actual snow from the snow globe being shaken. So, okay. So I know I have about 3 minutes left, but I've gone over time the past few times. So I think I'm just going to stop there. Like I said, you all have seen me do a t-shirt before, so nothing earth-shattering with that. I am definitely going to make a shirt out of that but with that resting Grinch face transfer. That will probably be, and now that I'm thinking about it, my November t-shirt of the month in my Etsy store. So my September one is there now. It's a Halloween themed shirt with the Chalk Eye Ghost people all year long transfer on it. So that's there. Customizable, to your own colors. So that's September. I haven't decided on October yet. Might have to release the October one early. I usually would do that at the first of the month, but now that I'm thinking about it, I think I want to make, I think I want the October shirt to be a breast cancer awareness shirt. So I'll have to think about that because obviously I don't want to wait till October 1st to release that. So that might come out a little bit early. But I think that the resting Grinch face is definitely going to be the November shirt. So that will release November 1st. If you're on my email list, you will have an opportunity to order that early with a discount, and you can go to my website and sign up for my email list, or I'll put a link in the comments. And then I was going to talk about it while I was working and I forgot. So starting on Monday, another part of my business is working with creatives on organizing their physical space. So I have a free course launching on Monday that will actually be here in my YouTube channel. It'll be a lesson released every week for 6 weeks that you can sign up for also on my website, but I'll put a link to that in the video description as well. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. If you have comments, I would love to hear them, what you think about these projects. Don't forget all of these transfers release on Tuesday. If you have a suggestion for an upcoming project, I'd love to know that too. If there's something that you've seen, if there's a transfer you've seen or a surface you've seen, and you're like, hey, show me what I can do with this. Or if there's something you've seen elsewhere, send me a picture. And if I can figure out how to recreate it, I will figure out how to recreate it. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, everybody have a wonderful Friday. And again, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. And I will see you all next week.